Thank you so much for your interest in the ChatGPT 101 webinar recording. In this video, I walk through different features on the paid version of ChatGPT, but a lot of these features transfer over to the free version also. So if you're on the free version of ChatGPT, it's definitely still worth checking out. And if you haven't signed up for our Learn AI Insights newsletter, you can do that below. So just enter your email and click the submit button, and then you'll be in the loop on all of our future webinars. And you'll also get our newsletters, which walk through different workflows and tips and tricks when you're using different frontier models. All right, thanks a lot. See you in the video.
All right, let's get into ChatGPT. So just to give you an outline of how we're going to go through this, I'm going to start high level and just kind of go through the entire user interface. And then I will start clicking into different features and giving examples for certain features. Something to consider is if you're using the free version at ChatGPT, you might be missing some of these buttons and some of the features, though ChatGPT does a really good job of giving free users a lot of the features. They just rate limit you, which means that you might not be able to use certain features as much, but you could still dabble with them. We'll start over on the left-hand side. So this is the left panel over here. You can close it here and open it back up. This button obviously starts a new chat. You can click this button to search any of your other chats, your past chats. This takes you into the image gallery. This takes you into apps. And then this takes you to Codex, which is ChatGPT's coding platform. Below that are custom GPTs. So if you're on the free version, you can use custom GPTs. You just can't build custom GPTs. So that's one of the drawbacks. So these are all custom GPTs that I've built. You can go in and explore custom GPTs and find different types of custom GPTs depending on what you're looking for. So this is really fun to go through if you're working on a project and you think you could use a custom GPT for it. There's different categories also. So moving back over to the left hand side, clicking on projects. These are all your projects. I'm actually going to open a new chat. There we go. So back down to the bottom, these are all your projects. You can close and open them here. To start a new one, you click on this, and then you would name it, and you can highlight it and give it an icon. I'm going to close out of that. I'm going to minimize my projects. This is your chat history below projects. And so this has like all of your different chats. You can scroll down and keep going. So this is where they're all saved, and you can go back to them if you want to click on them or not. And then below that is your account settings. So this is where a lot of like your account and subscription information will be. So going back up top, this is where you select the different models that you want to use. So for the free version, you won't have as many options as the pro or enterprise version. So here I can come down to legacy models and I can go back to some of the older models. I typically stick with 5.2 because that's the most advanced model. And right now I'm in thinking mode. If you see down here in the composer window, there's thinking options. So I'll click on this and you can go to standard or extended. If you aren't sure what you want to do, you can think of thinking mode as basically the strongest model option. So 5.2 extended thinking is the most advanced model. It takes more time to give you an output, but the output is much more detailed. So if you don't need as much detail, but you want to be on thinking mode, you can go to standard. Or if you're just asking a pretty basic question, you can go to auto, and then the model will decide if it needs to go to thinking mode or if it can just give you an output right away. So then an instant gives you obviously an instant output, which is really fast. So going back into the composer, over to the right side, we see this little button with the sound wave in it. This is voice mode. So this, if you click this, you are able to actually have a conversation with ChatGPT. So you'll speak into your microphone on your laptop, desktop, or even your phone if you're on the app, and then it will give you the output in voice. So you can literally have a conversation with ChatGPT. Then moving over to the microphone on the left, this is Dictate. So you can again speak into your microphone, and what it will do is it'll transcribe what you're saying and enter it as text into the prompt window. And then when you're done, you would send it, and then the output is given to you in text also in this window. So that's the composer. And then down here next to this extended thinking, there's the plus button. Click on that. This is where you would upload files. If you're connected to Google Drive, you can pull in files directly from Google Drive. Here you can create an image, do deep research, shopping, agent mode, and more. And then this is even more options: web search, Canvas, quizzes. You can explore apps. So these are all the apps that you can connect to. Again, this view for the free ChatGPT tier might be limited. I don't think you have all of these options, but you can definitely still upload files and do some of these other features. All right, and moving over to the top right here, this is to start a group chat. So if you want to invite somebody to your thread so you can collaborate with them, you can click this button. And then the bubble, the chat bubble next to it, this turns on temporary chat. So I use this if I'm just asking like one-off questions and I don't need to circle back to it. And what it's good for is not gumming up your chat history. So this does not get saved into your chat history. So you do not have to go back and like delete random one-off questions. So I really like this feature. And it is also not stored in the memory. So this is permanently deleted after 30 days. So this is a really nice feature. So that concludes the high-level walkthrough of the ChatGPT interface. All right, let's get into the demo part of the webinar. So I'm going to start clicking in and explaining in a little bit more detail what the different features are of ChatGPT. So let's start with search. So if you want ChatGPT to search something specifically and then bring you back citations that you can then click on and research yourself, you should turn on web search. And to make this a little bit faster, I'm going to go into auto mode. And I've written out a prompt already that I'm just going to copy and paste in here. So we'll run it and see what comes back. So this is for my email newsletter that we are launching next month, which we're really excited about. But this is all kind of like nerdy backend stuff that I'm educating myself about. And so you can see that there's different links here. So if I wanted to learn a little bit more about domain-based message authentication, I would click on this link here and it would take me to the website. This is a really nice way to aggregate different outlets that might have information on content that you are looking for. Again, if you're on the free version, you might get rate limited on how many searches you can do. So just be cognizant of that. So next we will get out of search and we are going to look at deep research. So this is kind of like a wow feature. Again, if you're on the free version, you might be limited to maybe like 3 deep researches within a certain time period. But think of this as like a deep dive on a topic that you want to learn a lot about. What ChatGPT is going to do is basically go off, and it might take like 5 to 10 to even 15 minutes to go and do a ton of research. And what it's going to do is going to come back and it's going to give you a report, very much like a business report with headings, subheadings, executive summary, and a ton of different citations with different links. I mean, I've done deep research and gotten anywhere from like 20 to 50 different citations where I'm able to click into and dig deeper on certain topics. So think of this as like you're doing a Google search and you end up with like 20 different tabs open in your browser. That's basically what a deep research tool will do for you. It'll take all of those different tabs, not like literally, but it's doing it in the background, and it'll bring you a report with all of the important websites and citations that you can click into. I love to do this when I'm considering different like business verticals, or if I'm exploring a topic that I don't know a lot about. I will use the deep research tool. All right, next, let's get into agent mode. So I'm going to click out of that. And so clicking back on the plus in the composer and then clicking on agent mode here. I have written a prompt already, so I'm just going to paste it in here. And what agent mode does is it basically handles like multi-step processes, whereas like the normal prompting process is you give the LLM a prompt and it goes off and it creates an output for you, which should be like answering your prompt and giving you information. What agent mode does is you can give it a multi-level prompt and it will go off and handle all of the different levels of that prompt and bring everything back to you all at once, as opposed to you having to like write a prompt, get an output, then iterate on that. So give it another prompt, get another output, and kind of go through this back and forth process. Agent mode kind of sidesteps that and will do everything all at once. So let's fire this off. Here it's going through all the different tools that it has at its disposal. It looks like it's searching a web page right now. And as you can see, agent mode is a bit time consuming, so definitely consider that before you run it. All right, and here we go. It came back with the output. And it gave me an email draft as well as the summary above. And yeah, so it did a bunch of different tasks all in the background, which is pretty cool. So next we will get into uploading a file. So just go up here, photos and files, click on this. And here's the summary. All right, and now let's get into creating an image. So let's go up here. Look at that. That's pretty impressive. ChatGPT used to not be able to put words on images at all, and it's pretty amazing that it can now write words that make sense, that are pertinent to the prompt that you gave it. So that's pretty cool. Though it does look very AI generated, so I would never use that. But it is a cool example. All right, now we're gonna click on the plus sign again, and we are going to go and look at Canvas. So this is really cool because the output will come out in a kind of text editor window that you're able to click into and make changes. So I'm going to give it a basic prompt right now. All right, and if you want to copy this, you can click this button down here. You can thumbs up if you like the output. And then you can also have it read aloud if you're like driving in your car or something like that. Schedule is if you want to schedule the prompt to run again, and then reporting the message if it's something that is not good. And then within the canvas, this is what I wanted to show you. The canvas is the text editor I was talking about. So you go up to this button here and you click edit, and then it opens up a new window where you can start editing the text. So you have this window over here in the bottom right, and you can adjust the length of it. You can adjust the reading level. You can add a final polish, and then you can add emojis wherever you want. Or if you want to come in here, you can actually write in it also. And then if you want to work on a certain part of this Canvas document, you can highlight this whole thing, and then you can go ask ChatGPT, and you can write a prompt just for this. So you could say something like, Please create a new title for this section. And there it goes. Just made a new title. Here you can do some basic text editing, so you can bold, italics, or uppercase, lowercase. Then you can also do the edit or explain if you click over here on the right. So I'm going to close out of the canvas mode up here by clicking the X at the top left. And now I'm going to jump into voice and dictation. Hey, we're doing a ChatGPT webinar right now. Can you bust a rhyme for all of the attendees and just make it like a 5 to 10-second rhyme, please?
All right, here we go. It's a ChatGPT jam, learning and rhyming like a digital program. Whether you're here for tips or just to explore, we're unlocking the future. AI's got more.
All right, and then I'll click end to end that. And that output should be right down here. Here we go. Click the thumbs up. And then I'll do the last but not least, we'll do the dictate for the microphone. Hey, what's up? Can you write a soliloquy that's about 5 to 6 lines long about a ChatGPT webinar? And you see how it turned my dictation into a transcript, and then I sent it off. And there's our soliloquy. So that wraps up a lot of the features that I use on a regular basis for ChatGPT. I'm sure you noticed there's other features. You can connect some other apps and do some other cool things, and I encourage you to explore them. But for the sake of brevity, I just wanted to show you kind of a high level of the features that I use the most. All right, let's get into a couple more features, and then we're going to get into the settings, and that will wrap up our webinar. So I'm going to go over back to custom GPTs, and I am going to just kind of show you on a high level how to create one. I use a lot of them. As you can see, these are ones that I've built and I'm actively using. So you would go up to the top right create button, click on that. And this is basically the back end of a custom GPT. So this is where you would write your instructions. So let's say you wanted to create a custom GPT for Facebook posts. You would write all of your instructions in here. So you would write like the tone, the brand guidelines, the length of the post, who you're targeting, maybe what you're selling, all of the relevant information that you would need for the custom GPT to write you a good Facebook post. Right here in description is exactly what it says it is. There's a 300 character max on the description, but it would basically like outline at a high level what the custom GPT does. Also for the instructions, there's an 8,000 character limit, which sounds like a lot, but it actually isn't if you start building custom GPTs that do extensive things. So something to keep in mind. Here you would name your custom GPT, and you see it show up on the side. This is where the description will go. And then instructions won't show up. Conversation starter is a button that'll show up here that you can click to start. Knowledge files, this is for like instructions. So if you want to train the custom GPT on different instructions, you would upload the knowledge files here. Here's where you can suggest the model that the custom GPT uses. So you can click 5.2 thinking, or you can go to instant, or any one of these models. And then capabilities. So you can give the custom GPT capabilities. So this is if you want it to make images, if you want it to use Canvas, which is that editing text editor feature I showed you. And if you want it to be able to search the web and bring back links and citations, you would click web search on. And then code interpreter and data analysis. This is if you're uploading like spreadsheets and things like that, that you want the custom GPT to be able to analyze. and then create new action. This is the backend, so you would be creating schemas for it if you're connecting it to third-party apps, but this is getting into the weeds, so let's click out of this. And then you can also upload an image that would populate right here where this 3D square is. And so that is basically how to make a custom GPT. Now I want to take you to projects. So under GPTs, we would click on projects and then click on new project. Then we can give it a color and an icon. So let's say you're doing some traveling research and this is your traveling project. Let's create another chat and say, there you go. It has a nice map in here. We can take this thread and we can actually put it inside of our project. So now, if we ever need to get back to this thread or anything else about our trip to Boston, we can go to this project and it'll have all of our threads in it. I think this is a great feature because you can organize different threads and they are easy to access underneath specific projects. So now let's get out of projects and look at apps. So this is where you can actually connect different apps to ChatGPT. So if you're using Canva a lot and you want to work directly with Canva, you can click on it and then click connect, and it will basically redirect you to log into your Canva account. And once you do that, you'll always have the option in ChatGPT to access Canva. So you can access documents that you created or media that you created in Canva, and you can iterate on them if you want through the ChatGPT interface. And that goes with any other of the apps that are in here and integrated. So I don't use this at all. I only use it for Google Drive, but I have heard good things about leveraging the different app connectors in ChatGPT. All right, last but not least, let's get into the settings. So settings here opens the window, and these are all of basically your general settings from a high level. This is if you want to get notifications, which I do get notifications whenever my output is done processing. Personalization, you can change the tone of how ChatGPT interacts with you, if it gives you emojis and different aspects of that. Then you can create a nickname. Here's the app connectors. You can set schedules for prompts. Orders, this is if you're shopping with ChatGPT. Data controls, so I highly suggest having this off. That means they don't train on your chat threads. Remote browser data is on so that I have better search functionality. And you should really dig into this and understand it. This covers like deleted chats and archived chats. Make sure that your security settings are set to what you like. Here's more security that you can get into, and then parental controls if a family member is using ChatGPT, and then here is the generic account information. So that is it for the ChatGPT walkthrough webinar. I hope you got a lot out of it, and thank you so much for joining.